Hare Gange Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. Beginnings are endings, and endings are beginnings. We are all going through major transformations right now. Whether it is a beginning or an ending or a beginning, it really all is the same, because to step forward, we must also step away. And all of us can celebrate the new. All of us will celebrate the transformation, but what we don't talk about and what we don't recognize and what we definitely don't celebrate is what you stepped away from for that transformation to happen. We live in a world where we so badly want to move forward and we so badly want to hold on to everything exactly as it is. And these things can't happen simultaneously. To create the world you want, the life you want, the career, the relationship, the home, whatever it is, it requires you stepping away. And sometimes the most courageous thing that you can do is to walk away even when things are fine. Even when things are not so painstakingly horrible that you can't take it anymore. That is when you haven't listened. You know, things don't become super horrible overnight. Typically, there are red flags, there are signs, there are nudges, there are intuitive hits. So for some situations and for some people, you need to get to that most extreme, but the trick is to really make the changes before they get to that point. Is to step away before it's on fire. Is to realize that there's nothing wrong with this and I'm seeking something more in alignment. The risk happens because we can't ever guarantee that. And that's why so many of us don't take action towards what we want, because we want a guarantee. And this doesn't exist. We've grown up, and I talk about this in my new book, Discover Your Dharma, but we've grown up in this school system, in this society, in this media, in this economy that wants the 100% money back guarantee, wants the testimonials, wants to see who's done it before, what were their results. And if I can somehow hold on to as many guaranteeing factors, then only will I take action. And that's not how life works. And that's definitely not how your Dharma, your soul's purpose, comes through. There is no money back guarantee. And there is no one who's done it before, because it's your Dharma, it's your path. And when I say Dharma, I'm speaking about your soul's purpose. And that entwines everything from your career, but also just your embodiment of who you are. So right now, we are being called more than ever to step into our dharmas, into our purposes, into who we are meant to be. And this requires stepping away. This requires following the intuitive nudges before they become slaps in the faces, or even worse so, collisions. This requires us to do the scary thing, the uncertain thing, the thing that doesn't really make sense, the thing that we don't even need to do, but we want to because we feel it can help us expand. And that's really all we're here to do, is to continue expanding. It's not about what feels good, because oftentimes expansion does not feel good. It feels fucking scary. It feels sad even sometimes. You know, I'm moving right now across the country from LA to Miami, where I don't really know anyone. Why? I have been feeling intuitively pulled to go there. I have been craving to live by an ocean where I can swim in the water every day, and to be near Latin culture and Spanish and different communities coming together, and also needing to stay somewhere that has good internet because I do this podcast. So, you know, leaving the country was not in alignment right now. So I took that plunge, and a lot of fear has come up and a lot of sadness of leaving my community and, well, things are still so great here and why am I leaving? But because I know it will expand me. Because I know every time I put myself in a situation where I'm feeling uncertain and I'm feeling fear, but I can also feel that it's bringing me to a higher level of expansion, I take it. So we don't have to wait for things to get so bad that we don't have any other choice. It begins by just taking that step. And that step for you could be as small as sending an email, having a conversation, applying for a job, whatever that is. Or it could be as big as moving across the country, signing up to go back to school, having a divorce. But everything is going to come with an ending if it has a beginning. You can't have both. When we are walking, we're taking a step forward. Our society celebrates the step forward. We don't talk about the step you had to take away for that step forward to happen. Your foot had to go off the ground from where it was and step away from perfectly stable cement to take that next step. So it's like rock climbing. This visual just came to my mind. It's like you're rock climbing and you're like halfway through the mountain and you're like, this feels like a good stop right here. I'm just gonna pause for maybe a couple years right here. You know, it's not the summit. It's not where I want it to be, but it's fine. It's good. My friends are here too, so, you know, can't leave my friends. Instead of continuing to reach up for that next piece of stone that feels like it can hold you and trusting that it will. So it's this balance of following the path of least resistance, but it's also often the path you're the most resistant to, which is something I talk a lot about in my book, Discover Your Dharma. Often the path of least resistance requires you to go through what you're the most resistant to, because you've made a lot of decisions to get you to this point that you're out of alignment. So it feels like complete new territory to step into something completely new because you're so far away from it. But does that mean you stay exactly where you are until that rock eventually begins to crumble and then you fall further down the mountain? No, but that's what most people do. Instead of continually trusting, I might feel resistance towards the climb, but I know it's where I want to keep going. I feel resistance towards the work, but I know I'm going to feel better if I do it. I feel resistance towards this conversation, towards whatever this is, but I know it's going to bring more expansion, more love, more joy, more Dharma into my life. And that's really what this human existence is all about. It's all about continually growing. If you don't want to grow, you die. You die. We are not here to chill. We are not here to just, hang around and lie in the sun. That's great. And there's such beauty in relaxation, but we weren't born only for that purpose. If we were, we wouldn't have these goals, these dreams, these aspirations, these visions, this innate desire within every single human to grow and expand. That wouldn't be placed within us if the purpose of life was to negate that. So here's where my issue is with a lot of the spiritual content that's being shared. We are bypassing the natural desire to live a life of purpose because it feels so big, because it feels so colossal, because we don't know how we're going to do it. So we pretend it doesn't exist, it's not there. Let me just accept. Let me just do my mantras. Let me just get enough crystals that I feel good in this moment, and that's great and that's helpful. And if you're not addressing why you don't feel comfortable in this moment, why you have anxiety right now, why you're having panic attacks, why you constantly feel overwhelmed, why you feel depressed, if you're not addressing that why, then you're going to need a lot of crystals. You're going to have to meditate all day. And guess what? The moment you get out of that meditation, you're going to remember that you're living a life out of alignment with your purpose. And you're going to need a lot of Reiki for that. So we can't bypass the fact that in our hearts, in our souls, we want to create. We are here to create. We are creative beings. I ask everyone at the beginning of this podcast when I do my interviews, what makes you your highest self? Do you know what makes me my highest self? When I'm creating. Because that is what we are here to do. We are creatrixes and creators. We are here to create the intangible into the tangible. That's actually what manifestation really means, to bring thought form into the physical realm. That's what we're here to do. We are here to be magicians. We're here to create alchemy. We are here to let our lofty ideas and visions and dreams for what the world could look like translate into this dimension. We're not here to only be 5D and forget what's happening in the 3D. We're here to live in that 5D spectrum and have these beautiful ideas and then bring them down to the 3D where they can be experienced, where we elevate where the 3D is at. So the standard of consciousness can be at a higher place. So this is the time to do it. There has been no better time. There has been no greater time. Every single person on planet Earth and other galaxies are shifting right now. And it's really important to also remind ourselves that things really are getting better. Because it's so easy to only pay attention to things that are getting worse. And yes, there for sure are a lot of things that are getting worse. And I don't need to go into all of them because you're hearing everyone else talk about it. For sure, we have a crazy president. For sure, so many social issues are like, what the hell? How is this still happening? Trust me, I know. And at this point, if all we do is go down the rabbit hole and keep focusing on everything that's going wrong, we're not going to be in a state to be able to take action towards it. We're not going to be able to create that shift. And creating that shift means being in alignment with it first. Because you can't transmit something that you don't embody. You can't transmit something you don't embody. So how are you going to make the world healthier and happier if you're not healthier and happier? How are you going to make the world have more peace if you don't have more peace? How are you going to help people find their purpose if you're not really living your purpose? How are you going to help people have healthier and stronger relationships if you're not having a healthier and stronger relationship? We can't transmit something that we are not embodying ourselves. So why are we not embodying it? Because we're so sucked up into what's happening in the world around us, the externalities, which are real and which are there. And if you want to shift them, here's where people get stuck. I want to change the world. So then they only focus on the world instead of focusing on themselves enough to embody that shift they want to create into the world. And from that place of embodiment, they can withstand what is happening in the world because it won't shift them. If I'm in a panic attack state and I want to change the world, who am I going to get to? Who am I going to teach? If I show up and I give a talk and I'm like, oh my God, shit's hitting the fan. Like, how am I going to transmit that? I need to feel it. I need to be it. So then when you're in that panic attack state, I'm not adding on to the chaos. I'm able to see, I see you, I feel you, I've been there too. And here's where I'm at right now. And I can transmit that energy to you. And then you can transmit to someone else and we create the domino effect. So it's this temptation that we have, especially activists like myself and maybe a lot of you, of like, I need to change what's happening in the world. And then we lose ourselves in it. And then we don't make those shifts that are right before us. We don't pay attention to the soul assignment that we were incarnated on this planet to do. And that soul assignment is only going to happen when you focus on it, when you cultivate it, when you put in the time, the work, the motherfucking work. Like, let's not pretend that things happen when you just snap your fingers. You gotta put in the work. You gotta move through the fears. You gotta exercise your courage, your sacred courage. You gotta do your sacred doing. And this is how we can really create this new world. This is how we can really live the life that we know that we were meant to. And also, holding that understanding that things have always gotten better in society. I mean, would you have rather incarnated 100 years ago in 1920? Like, yes, there's so much we still have to do in our society. It's nowhere near perfect. And I would much rather be born now than any other point in modern human history, for sure. Like, maybe the only other time was like super ancient times where we were all goddesses. That would have been great. But while we have been humans, this has been the best time. It has been the best time to be alive. There is more access to clean water than ever before. There's more food available. There is less starvation than ever before, less poverty ever before, less disease-related deaths than ever before. These are all actual facts right now. But we don't want to focus on that. Our minds are designed to focus on everything that's going negative. And it has helped us evolutionary because we're able to see where are, the things that we need to be paying attention to for our survival. And right now, in this time where there's so much that we could be focusing on that's super, super negative, it actually puts us in a debilitating state that we're not able to do the very things that we incarnated to do, that soul assignment, that Dharma, that your soul came here with the gifts to share. You can't do it if you're so focused on all that could be going wrong. And you're just, instead of educating yourself on creating the solution, all these people, I don't have time to do my Dharma. I don't have time to learn new skills. I don't have time to study YouTube videos and figure things out. But somehow you have time for the conspiracy theories. Somehow you have time for the news. Somehow you'd have time for Instagram and Twitter and whatever else you're consuming. Where'd that YouTube time come from? Switch up the videos. Switch up the time instead of scrolling through bullshit. Teach yourself something. Teach yourself something in alignment with your Dharma. And I promise you, it's going to actually create much more impact into the world than just trying to, quote unquote, educate yourself on issues that you, first of all, don't know the whole story of. And second of all, you won't be able to directly address unless you are dedicated to it and living in alignment with your purpose and fueled up. So this is about actually thinking big picture and being pragmatic, which I think are things that often in the spiritual community we don't focus on as much. And I mean, I'm a Capricorn, if you haven't figured that one out, but that's why we need to focus on this stuff. We need to focus enough on following our intuitive nudges to see them through. So if you're going through a transition right now and it's feeling overwhelming and scary and you're like, I'm feeling super resistant to it. Am I off? Am I supposed to be feeling good all the time? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not manifesting the right way? Why is this stuff showing up? I'm not good at spirituality. My meditation must not be working. I'm a shithead. Whatever the story is. As long as you are feeling that you are expanding, you are in alignment. As messy as it looks, as confusing as it may feel right now, as overwhelming as the process may appear, as long as you can feel like it's bringing you to your next iteration of who you are meant to be, if it feels like it is growing you in the direction that your soul wants to grow, as long as it feels like you are emerging into your butterfly self and your wings are expanding and you're having the exact colors and patterns and designs that resonate with exactly who you are, the fabric of your core being in this very moment, then you're doing it right. You're doing it perfectly right. So this is our invitation for all of us to allow ourselves to move through the transitions, to not be afraid of stepping away, from not being afraid of saying no to fine, from not being afraid of boundaries, for not being afraid of action, and to instead focus that energy fully, wholly, in an embodied way into who it is that you are meant to blossom as into this new paradigm. So, I'm excited for you. I am packing up all my things into boxes tomorrow and moving across the country. I'll keep you posted how it goes. It's going to be exactly as it's meant to. And I know that. So trusting process, trusting the emotions, trusting what comes up, and excited to see where this next iteration brings me as well. So this month in Rose Gold Goddesses, we are diving into Goddess Gaia, who is the goddess of the earth. She is grounded. She is anchored. She's the exact frequency that we need to step into right now in this very chaotic time where a lot of energies are pulling us into many, many different directions. Gaia is here to remind us to connect to our body, connect to our breath, connect to the earth and what's true and what has always been, which is Gaia, Shakti, humanity, Pachamama, Mother Earth, that frequency that is your body, is your womb, that you do carry, Kapha. So when we step into a place of embodiment, of groundedness, we don't let the noise, the dust impact us, because we know exactly where we are meant to be, and we don't keep stepping away based off of everyone else's stories, fears, demands, etc. So if you are feeling this wave and wanting more support, wanting my practices, my tools, my journal prompts, my rituals, all of that, then come join us this month in Rose Gold Goddesses. We have our Goddess Gaia Circle. And when you join fully Rose Gold Goddesses, you have access to, at this point, 13 other goddess circles that we've been doing for over the past year, from your creativity with Saraswati, your sacred sensuality with Lalita Sundari, your ease with Yamaya, your compassion with Kuan Yin, your Dharma with Durga, and so much more. Plus, we have a community of 2,000 spiritual soul sisters, my master classes, workshops, healing and embodiment through dance, awaken your powers. All of that is available for you in Rose Gold Goddesses. So you can join us at rosegoldgoddesses.com. That is goddesses, plural. The link is in the show notes. And I'm so excited to meet you inside. If you loved this episode, I would love to send you a free gift, which is the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. This is a different book than Eat Feel Fresh, my first book ever, which is not released anywhere, and I am gifting it exclusively to those who leave a review of my podcast in the iTunes store. So all you got to do is head over to iTunes, where you may be listening to this podcast, and leave a review. Take a screenshot that you've left it and email it over to me at Sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. Again, that's Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you back the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type, which goes all into Ayurveda, doshas, plant-based nutrition, body types, all of the things in a really fun and engaging way. So this is my gift to you for free for supporting the podcast. Every single review I personally read. It really helps the podcast be listened to by more people so we can raise the vibration of the planet together. And I am so grateful to have you on this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Namaste.